Hey everyone, I thought it'd be quite a useful little thing to do a quick review of what's happened in February, what's been built, what's been bought, and then a little bit of a look ahead as to maybe what's coming up in March and onwards, or at least what the immediate plans are. Hopefully this will become kind of a regular part of the YouTube channel, but let's see how we get on. So what happened in February? Well, February was four kits built. Yeah, so a total of four kits built in February. Not all of them started in February and finished, but I kind of measure it by what's finished. So number one in terms of finishing was this bad boy, which is the new Peugeot 306 Maxi. I have to say that is an absolutely fantastic little kit to build. It goes together really well. Few issues with just how tight the transparencies, because they go in from the outside. Once you get some paint and clear coat on it, they actually can be quite difficult to get in. But other than that, I think this is a fantastic little kit to build. So this was primed UMP white for the overall colour, and then using Zero Paint's pure brilliant white lacquer paint for a paint coat. Then decals applied, and then clear coat of, was it Zero Paint's clear lacquer, and then obviously the obligatory sanding and polishing to try and get it look reasonably shiny, which I think it's come out okay. There's a few things on it I'm not entirely happy with, but you know, it's a really nice kit, and if some nice sets of decals come out for it, I'd probably, I think I would build one again. So it's a lovely car. My brother had a 306 GTI 6 back in the day, which absolutely fantastic car. So this particular version of the 306 in rally trim is somewhat reminiscent of that. So then, number two for February, in a complete departure from what you've just seen, was this little kit. So this is the 1/76 scale Airfix Classic GMC duck, which was the amphibious vehicle used heavily during World War II and during the Normandy landing. So again, this was something I just picked up at a hobby shop quite cheap, and kind of started building it a while ago, and there's very few parts in it, but in some ways it was enjoyable. You know, the opportunity to kind of add a little bit of weathering, try some rust colours. I mean, it's not specifically based on anything I've seen in photographic evidence or anything, but you know, it was just an opportunity to experiment a little bit. So I think this was overall primed in UMP grey, and then painted with Tamiya olive drab, the acrylic XF one, can't remember the number. I think I did some highlights with some lighter colour khaki drab, thinned heavily just to kind of highlight up some of the top bits. I think I've used the khaki colour on the roof. And again, I've kind of airbrushed in some other colours just to give a little bit more of an impression of depth. The rust weathering was done using, I think I used Humbrol Rust Wash and Revell's Rust Pigment, and probably some of their other pigments just to vary the colour tones a little bit. I mean, I have to admit, for me, kind of weathering is not one of my fortes, and I think I found particularly at this scale it's very easy to go from, you know, multiple kind of rusty colours to a very kind of poorly defined kind of muddy kind of splodge on it. But you know, I think it looks quite okay, and I think it was then given a coat of matte varnish just to seal everything in. But yeah, very simple, very quick build, and quite enjoyable. So again, with departures from what we've seen, kit number three, this bad boy, which is the Revell, I think it's 25th scale, F150 Raptor. So this is one of Revell's easy click, quick click sets, whatever they're called. I think it's only got like 9 or 10 parts in it. Very simple to put together, but it was an opportunity for me to have a go at doing some 2K work, which I think if you can see, you can actually see the camera reflected in the top surface, and if I switch, there's the camera light switching on, so you can see how much of a clear you get from using 2K. Certainly what a lot of the car builders use these days, so this was a good opportunity to have a bit of a play with that in practice, which I think I quite enjoyed. I was using Pro Range 2K. So yeah, so the base colour on this, so I think I primed this in UMP grey, base colour of Revell, I think number 49 or number 50, which is a gloss light blue, and then clear coat of 2K over the top. Wheels were done with, I think it was MIG ammo gunmetal. Again, they were given a coat of 2K just to have that little bit of shine on them. But there's so little that there's absolutely nothing in the underside of this kit. Completely bare. But you know, a nice little enjoyable build. You know, quick thing to run through. Then the final build of February, and most recently completed, was this, which is the Italieri F16C. I think it's a block 25. Not very clear in the kit itself, but from looking at reference pics and the age, it will be around that. So tagged as the Night Falcon on the box. Carries some extra ordnance and slightly different bits compared to an F16A. The kit itself it's quite an old Italieri kit. It is lacking in detail in a lot of areas. That the cockpit is very limited. Panel lines, although they're recessed, there are better examples out there in this scale. But you know, enjoyable little build. Kind of pull something else out of the stash that I've got and pops it on the shelf and sits in there nicely with all the other modern grey jets. So I suppose that, you know, some of the kind of key points of this, so that the canopy, excuse me, the canopy to get that kind of gold tint, which you can see. So that was done with mixing some Revell Aqua gold colour with some, I think it was Revell clear gloss. So essentially trying to make a little bit of a goldy clear, and you know, it comes out okay. I mean, if you look closely, you can kind of see the pigments. It has taken away the clarity, so it's not, you know, you can't see much of the cockpit inside, which is probably a good thing because there's very little detail in there. You know, I think there's a decal for the instrument panel, and there's nothing on the side consoles, so that was kind of painted with a little bit of black paint and dotted with white just to give the effect. Overall, I used quite a bit of filler on this, certainly around the wing roots, to try and get them a little bit blended with the fuselage. Again, on the underside, I think similar, quite a bit of filler. So I think this was primed in UMP grey. Yeah, it would have been primed in UMP grey. The overall kind of paint colour on this was done with this set, which is Vallejo's US Air Force grey schemes from the 70s to the present, which has pretty much all the kind of grey paints you need for US Air Force subjects. Certainly it's got this kind of standard F-16 scheme covered. So that was the overall kind of base coat. Ordnance was added, you know, bombs done kind of a olive drab green. A couple of reference photos were used just to make sure I can pick out some of the kind of key details. Overall, I think it was given a panel wash using Humbrol's blue-grey, I think it was. That seemed to go down quite well, gives a nice, you know, wasn't left to set for too long, so then it was, when it was brushed off, it was streaked quite a bit, so kind of does add a certain amount of kind of dirt and grime to the exterior. The underside, a lot of the wash has been kind of pulled back off, but then I used some, I think it was Ammo Make Grime, just to kind of get that center line a little bit kind of grimier and dirtier. And again, that was used for the nose wheel and kind of main gear bays inside the doors. So yeah, so that was another build done in February, just gone. So I suppose the other kind of part of what happened in February is what was bought. So not much bought this month. A couple of eBay finds. So number one was this Revell 24 scale Ferrari California, which came from eBay, but actually came with the Hobby Design photo etch set as well. So that will be a nice addition to this kit. When I looked inside the box, it all looked complete and actually looked like a nice little kit. So that's a good one. Number two for February was this Tamiya F360 Modena. Again, this was an eBay purchase. I think the previous owner had removed some parts from the sprues, but on looking through the box, all the parts that were removed, they're all there, they're all intact, and there's no damage. So again, that'll be as one would expect, a decent kit from Tamiya. And then the final purchase was this, which is the Micrometer 144 scale Vickers Valiant. I got this because I've got the Great Wall Hobbies Victor and the Great Wall Hobbies Vulcan, which this kind of adds to the kind of completion of having all the V bombers in 144 scale, because I think having them at 72nd scale would have just taken up far too much space. So again, it looks a reasonably okay kit. A little bit soft, but it does come with a little bit of photo etch as well. So yeah, I'm not sure about the decal quality, but we'll see when we get to it. And this will make use of the Hataka paint set I've got, which has got the anti-flash white for a scheme that's shown on the box. So that leads me nicely into kind of what's coming up. So I've just started doing a video build, which hopefully part one will be up quite soon, of the Great Wall Hobbies RAF Victor. So we're currently at the stage that the fuselage is together and complete, and I'm going to start working on getting the wing parts off the sprues, getting all the components put together, and start doing some of the detail painting for the engine and exhausts, and get that all buttoned up and onto the fuselage. But part one will cover getting these fuselage components together. In addition to that, I think I stuck up a video the other day where I've played around with trying to improve the look of some old decals on a kit I built a few years ago. So that was on this kit, which was the Revell 144 scale B2. And certainly if you look at the ones that I've had a go at, certainly they look a lot better than they used to. They could be improved further, I will say that, but certainly they look nowhere near as badly silvered as they did. So there's a little bit of a video about that and how I went about fixing those decals. So that's kind of it. I suppose that's my 15 minutes of February, which hopefully I'll do something similar after the end of March into start of April, and we'll do a little bit of a review of what's been done throughout this month. So all I'd say is please subscribe, and please like the video if you like it, and watch out for new content coming up in the next days and weeks. So thanks everyone, bye bye.